Namaste. Welcome to this new moon meditation. Today is December 14th, 2020, and we are approaching the end of the year. So this is actually our last new moon, which means our last new moon meditation for the year 2020. And so, being that this new moon is in Sagittarius, Sagittarius is known as the eternal seeker of knowledge and learning. So in the zodiac, the Sagittarius is depicted as half man, half horse, holding a bow and arrow. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move into the meditation. But I'd like for you to think about just a reflection of this year and maybe things that you've learned, things that you've grown from, things that have changed in your life. And I'm sure that we've all experienced some of that. So, as an eternal seeker of knowledge and learning, it's important to know that it's not about the destination, but it's about the journey. And I have to remind myself this too, because I get so into wanting to know so much about a topic or learn about something that I forget I don't need to learn it all at once. And in fact, it's impossible to learn everything and absorb it without first allowing yourself to experience what you're learning. For example, if you were to read 5 books super fast, would you retain it the same way as if you were to read one of those 5 books slower and take notes, start applying the principles in your life, and really start to absorb what you're learning from the book? So it's not necessarily about learning the most or learning a lot really quickly, but it's about learning and also applying what you've learned to your life. So this can be through actual studying, through reading, online courses, schooling, for those of you that are in college or have gone back to a college or a trade school, right? So we all are familiar with this kind of learning. But there's also another kind of learning that just happens when life happens. You know, when life throws experiences our way and we have to either choose to learn from it or continue the same cycle or the same behavior or patterns that will then continue the same experience over and over again. So for this year, we've been faced with a lot of opportunities to change and to grow. And through these full moon circles and these new moon meditations, we've asked you to do a lot of self-study, or as we say in Sanskrit, svadhyaya. And doing self-study, doing that work is not easy. It's very much challenging, and it can feel sometimes exhausting. So if you're feeling at all like you're tired, like you're exhausted, you're done changing, just know that you're not alone, and that is very common to feel after everything that we've been through this year. But the fact that you've showed up consistently for yourself, doing these full moon circles, doing these new moon meditations, it means that you have felt this call to really dive deeper within yourself and do this deep work that is helping you transform into this beautiful person that can overcome so many obstacles, challenges, and just continue to grow. So, as an eternal seeker of knowledge and of learning, we must always have compassion and patience with ourselves, because it's not something that's going to happen overnight, and it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. So let's enjoy the journey together as we sit here and prepare for meditation. So I'd like for you to sit upright. If you are seated, you do have the option to lay down either on a mat, or if you have a bed or a couch nearby, please just get yourself comfortable, and there is really no right or wrong here. It's just about whatever feels right for you. So if you are sitting, you could use props like a block perhaps a rolled blanket underneath the hips or a bolster. If you have a meditation cushion, you could use that as well. But see if you can elevate the hips so that the flow of energy and blood can move freely down the legs and into the feet. This will help your legs to not fall asleep, and this is going to help you sit longer, more comfortably in your meditation. So you can have the legs like I do here, with the knees on the ground and the shins and tops of the feet on the ground, or you could take more of an open hip base where you stack one foot in front of the other and you let the knees fall out to the sides. If you're choosing this method, make sure you're sitting on the edge of whatever prop that you're sitting on so that you can really roll the hips forward and have this openness across the front side of the body so that the flow of energy can also move freely up and down as you breathe. So find your comfortable seat. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to, that's fine. And we'll begin by placing the hands facing down. If you're laying on the ground, you may just place both hands over the belly, one hand over belly, one hand over heart. Just make sure that your hands are facing down. Grounding your energy here in this moment. Closing the eyes, or perhaps just keeping a soft gaze. Just noticing the body supported by the earth beneath it. Noticing the length in the spine. If you're seated, the crown of the head is reaching up towards the sky. If you're laying down, the chin slightly tucks in towards the chest to lengthen through the neck. Feel the head stacked over heart, heart over hips. Slightly hug low ribs in. Create the structure first, and then find ease. Now begin to take deep breaths in and out through the nose. Filling low belly on the inhale. Letting low belly contract on the exhale. Inhale, breath moves to low belly, rises to ribcage spread. Exhale, ribs hug back in as the navel presses back. Inhale, low belly, ribcage is open, breath moves to chest and collarbones. Exhale, chest melts down, ribs hug in, navel presses back. So feel all three parts of this breath. We call this three-part breath or Dirgha breath in Sanskrit. And this is really going to help you find ease, relaxation, full, deep breaths as we move deeper into meditation. So I invite you to continue with this breath. Feel all three parts expand and all three parts contract. Deep breaths in and out through the nose. If we think of the new moon as a lights out moment, then we're forced to use our other senses beyond our sight to really see what is happening, to to really see what is true for us. So consider here, as the eyes are closed, how you can use your other senses to fully sense into this present moment. Feeling hands connected to whatever part of the body they're resting on. Using the ears to hear, take in sounds that are going on around you. What can you smell in this moment? Even swishing the tongue around the roof of the mouth, noticing taste. Take a few moments here to just notice, observe the senses, and become witness to all the sensations that are happening around you and within you. Bring awareness back to breath. Feel the expansiveness of the inhale, the contraction of the exhale. Consider some of the things that you've learned this year. Consider the ways that you've changed. Take a moment here to reflect on all the things that you're proud of in yourself. All the things that you've overcome. All the challenges that you faced. All the victories you've had. And as you think of each one, really feel what it's like in your body, in your other senses. Touch, sound, smell, and taste. Can you bring awareness to all of these parts? As you think of all the things that you're proud of in yourself. All the things that you've overcome this year. All your victories. Your success. What do you feel? What do you hear? Any words of affirmation? Positive words of love and encouragement? Any mantra, perhaps, that you've repeated this year? How does this victory relate to smell? Do you smell something that's related to this victory, this success in your life? And how does this obstacle or challenge that you've overcome relate to taste? Can you taste the success? Can you taste the victory? How does this victory relate to taste? Deep breaths in and out through the nose. Head over heart, heart over hips. Lengthen through the neck. And let the shoulders soften down. Notice if there's any tension in the face as you brought this awareness to thoughts, to victories, to challenges overcome. See if you can soften in the face, the forehead, the cheeks, even the jawline begin to relax. The eyes soften. Now think of the Sagittarius, half man, half horse, holding a bow and arrow, aiming towards a direction. Consider a direction that you're trying to go in your life. Constantly seeking more knowledge, more insight, more abundance in this area. Consider this direction and see within a distance a target. Start to point this arrow of the Sagittarius towards this target, focusing your awareness on the center point. Where is it that you're trying to go? And what is it that you're trying to do? Are there lessons that have been learned this year that still need to be applied? Consider the ways that you might need to grow in order to achieve this goal. Keep visualizing the center point, the arrow drawing back in space, gearing up to take off towards this target. And as the Sagittarius is always a seeker of knowledge, of learning, of moving forward, so are you. Now allow this sense of seeking, of reaching this goal, to soften. Soften the resistance of the bow and the arrow. Can you steady the gaze even more towards the center point by softening the eyes? Having patience here as the Sagittarius, not quickly drawing the arrow back and releasing towards the target, for that's how inaccuracy happens. But instead, pausing, breathing, gazing outward towards the center point, your goal, your intention. And then carefully adjusting the bow and the arrow, steadying the gaze each time, having patience and steadiness in the journey ahead. And when you're ready, release the arrow. Let the arrow move closer towards the center point, this goal. And just notice what happens in the mind as you imagine this scene. A few things may have happened. Did you notice that you held on to the arrow and didn't let go? If this is you, then perhaps your patience is holding you back in a way that you didn't know. Perhaps the fear or insecurity of missing the target has held you back from releasing the arrow. In this case, the solution for you is to just simply take action. Perhaps you notice that you release the arrow too quickly and you miss the center point because of the quick release. If this is the case for you, perhaps your lesson here is to develop more patience, more steadiness, and more ease. Taking one's time, remembering that the journey is more than just the destination. The journey itself is so wonderful to be a part of. So really notice the journey here and allow yourself to appreciate the journey ahead. Perhaps you notice that you took a while to study the arrow, to study the gaze. And once you felt ready, you released your arrow. And the arrow moved towards the target. And perhaps you just noticed the arrow continuously moving towards the target without ever hitting it. If this is you, then you know deep down that the journey ahead is better, provides opportunity, and allows you to grow before even reaching your goal. It's interesting to become witness to what our mind is trying to tell us. So just notice if any of these three variations of the story were true for you. Perhaps something different completely happened. And just notice that, and without judgment, just become witness to your own experience. Now inhale to the count of 4. Hold at the top for 4. And exhale to the count of 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Continue on your own. Now bringing hands to heart center. If you're laying down, perhaps resting both hands over the heart space. Relax shoulders down, slight tuck of the chin. Feel the palms either pressing together or resting on the chest. Feel the warmth of the hands. Energy radiating from the palms and the fingertips. And within this warmth and energy lies an honor, commitment, gratitude, and appreciation. Feel this honor, gratitude, appreciation, and love. Feel this warmth. You are exactly where you need to be. You're doing exactly what you need to do. You are enough. Thank you so much for practicing this meditation with me. I hope that you have a lovely new moon. I invite you to journal and expand deeper on these topics that we discussed in the meditation. Please feel free to return to this meditation at any time, even after this new moon, because doing this self-work and this self-study, having these check-in points is nothing but beneficial. And although we tie in themes from these moon cycles, they're always something that can be revisited, and there's always another way to expand and grow on this topic. So that is all for today. And if you're joining us for the next full moon circle, I look forward to seeing you there. If you do want to join the circle, all you need to do is email the email that's provided in the description below, and you'll be able to get the link for our next online full moon circle. Thank you so much. From my heart to yours, namaste.